Hello, everyone. I went to go grab for my coffee like I normally do. It's like a security blanket. And then I realized I'm not drinking coffee right now. I'm doing a Sakara detox thing, and or their level 2 detox, and I'm in love with it, but it's rough. Like, what is it? What do we say? Caffeine withdrawal is a real thing. The last 2 days, the headaches have been crazy. So, this is me without caffeine. Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for your support on the podcast. It's been an amazing journey, and I've now interviewed 10 women, amazing women that I can't wait to share all their stories with you. So thank you for following me on that journey, for all the support and downloading the episodes, subscribing and commenting and liking and all of that. I see it all, and I'm just so unbelievably grateful that it's not just the support for the podcast, but really for these stories. I think it's important. I think it's important to showcase stories that I don't think normally get the spotlight, because there's so many amazing women out there that aren't just in the spotlight. So I like to showcase their stories. So thank you for tuning in and listening and hearing about how amazing they are. Okay, I'm going to be turning off commenting to do this interview with Noah this morning. And then we can turn it on at the end again if there's any questions that are coming through. I'm going to go and skim through some of these things right now. Yes, no caffeine. Thank you. Listen, and the sound, by the way, too, no one has been too harsh about the sound, but the sound for the first 3 episodes was really a struggle. Just mic issues. It'll all be on Patreon. I'll do behind the scenes and everything, but it was a struggle to get the sound right. I definitely learned a lot. And so the first one, it was the worst, and I can't believe that was salvageable. And then the 2 after were a little bit better, but now it's gotten down to a science, and we should be good from here on out. So you guys are going to be those that just listen. They'll be very impressed. That I hope it goes better. It just gets better. The sound is going to be really great. So yes, I'm excited to see everyone in Paris. Alicia did amazing. Yes, she did. Isn't she amazing? And her artwork. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm going to bring Noah on. Wait, I forgot how to turn comments off again. I'm going to turn comments off. Where's the button? There it is. Okay, I turned off commenting for this time, and then at here. Is she on here yet? Let me see. There you are. It's always like, hello.
How are you?
It's so good to see you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm nervous.
Why?
I'm excited, but I am nervous. Yeah, it's a sensitive issue, but I'm really excited to talk about it, and I'm very grateful to you for bringing me on and giving me the opportunity to talk about it.
Of course, happy to. And of course, anything that you're uncomfortable talking about, don't feel like you have to answer every question. If there's something that you're like, I don't feel comfortable with that, then just say that.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want you to ever feel like.
No.
By the way,
I'm a pretty open person about it because I feel like no one talks about it. So honestly, I will answer as much as I can without being too exposing.
Perfect. And thank you for that. Thank you for wanting to talk about it.
Yeah.
Is there a slight delay or an echo on your end?
Not like a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. I'm hearing something. Maybe it'll go away.
Do you want to?
I think it's okay. I'm like checking to see if we don't have the comments on, so I can't tell if anyone else is hearing it but me. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if anyone is hearing it. Okay. I think we just go for it. If you're not hearing it,
I don't hear anything.
let me sign you off and sign you right back on just as
Okay.
a test to
Okay.
see if it'll go away.
Okay.
So send that thing the request again.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let me, oh shit. How do I do this again?
I have
Wait,
no idea, girl.
that's this.
Nope. That's,
Ah.
can I leave?
Ooh, I don't know. Can you? Oh,
Um,
someone sent a message saying there is an echo. Okay, good.
okay, what if I leave the live and then join the live again?
Okay, try that.
Okay.
Okay. It's always technical. Always a technical difficulty. Okay, I'll give it a second. Let's try this again. Fingers crossed. Okay,
Okay. Is that better?
I think that's better.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't hear an
Okay.
echo anymore.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
It's funny because like I'm in my dorm right now and the walls are so thin, so people on either side of me are getting a free OCD pep talk.
It's good. Hey, listen, there's people out there that probably need to hear about this. There's a lot of people I think that need to hear about this, or to just
Yeah.
probably not feel alone. I think someone the other day, they actually wanted this to be kept private, but they actually divulged to me that like when they went through a really traumatic experience, what ended up happening is they actually became severely OCD as like a coping mechanism. So
Mhm.
it's interesting. It's already brought conversations up in my life. So I
Good.
think it's very brave of you to talk about it, and I think admirable of you to talk about it. So, did you have anything you wanted to start with, or did you want me to go right into questions?
So, I mean, I worked alongside my therapist to kind of, I mean, I wrote down everything I wanted to say. I have like an intro and then just like basic information, and then I wanted to talk about my personal history.
Yeah.
But really, like whatever you want to do works for me. So,
No, you take the stage and you lead it how you were wanting to, and then I'll listen. And if any of these questions weren't answered, then I'll chime in. That people ask, then I'll chime in and ask those questions. But I think you
yeah,
take.
pause me. Please pause me if you like have a question or something.
Okay.
Also, if you personally have any questions.
Okay.
But yeah, the thing I want to start by saying is I'm obviously not a medical professional. Everything I say is my own personal experience and conversations I've had with psychologists and psychiatrists and other people with OCD. Um, the first thing I want to address is like the misconception about it. It's not really portrayed in the media at all. It's really portrayed as, you know, a disorder where you need to be super organized and super clean, and that's it. And that really dismisses like the severity and complexity of it.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, it's taken years off of my life. It's a lot more complex than just feeling like the need to be clean. The World Health Organization actually listed it as one of the top 10 most debilitating disorders out there. So I think most people don't realize like how debilitating it is on a daily, you know, on a daily basis.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that at all. Okay.
Yeah,
Continue.
a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'm so OCD about that." And it's like if you're saying that, you don't actually know what it means.
And I mean,
um
I'm at fault for that. So I'll even say that. I mean, I'm 100% at fault for saying that sometimes with my own life and not understanding it fully. So I'm going to call myself out on this one.
yeah.
So
No, I
you're going to
appreciate that.
educate me too about not saying that.
Yes. Yeah. So, what it stands for is I have my iPad here. Sorry if I'm like looking.
No, I do the
Um
same thing always.
So what it stands for is obsessive compulsive disorder. The obsessions are like repeated unwanted thoughts and fears, and then the compulsions are like behaviors or actions that you take to kind of um, like decrease the stress and anxiety that comes from having those thoughts and fears. And the thing is that like we all have intrusive thoughts, right? Like we all have unwanted, random, weird thoughts. Like you're driving down the highway and you like cross a bridge and you're like, what if I just like drove off the side? Like we've all had stuff like that. Maybe not that exact one. But the thing is that with people with OCD, they're unable to dismiss it and it becomes like all encompassing. It becomes all you can think about for hours, days, weeks, months. Like it really takes all of your brain space and you're kind of caught in this loop and it's the only thing you can think about.
Okay.
And then compared with that are the compulsions. So like if you had the intrusive thought like, oh, like if you ran over a pothole, for example,
Yeah.
and you had the intrusive thought, what if that was a person? What if I just ran over a person?
Like your
Like,
brain goes there, and then do you
mhm,
start going, that might have been a person? Like, do you actually
that,
start
yeah.
thinking?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And then you like know rationally like that's not what happened,
Yeah.
but like I've gone back to check. Like I've gone back and I'm like, because it's so convincing and I can't move on with my life until I make sure that I didn't harm somebody. um
Okay.
so I did want to talk about um the science behind it a little bit because I find it really interesting.
Yeah.
It is an imbalance of serotonin. So
So it is a chemical imbalance or
mhm,
hormone. Would that be a chemical or hormonal?
chemical.
Chemical. Okay.
So serotonin is a neurotransmitter that's released by neurons. Basically, what happens is once neurotransmitters are used in the brain, um, they are taken back up into the neurons. So it's called reuptake.
I
And the
heard of
people,
this.
yeah.
Okay.
So the reason that SSRIs, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, are the medications that are given to people with OCD, is because it essentially like extends the reuptake time and makes it take longer for it to be taken back up, so that it is kind of swimming around in the brain for longer.
So you're
Because
getting that
people,
serotonin that
right,
you're essentially what is the word I'm thinking of? You don't have enough of, basically, or you're
right, it's taken up way too fast
yeah.
and your brain kind of can't use it. And so
Yeah.
somehow, I don't know all the science of it, but
Yeah.
somehow that causes these loops in your head and this
Wow.
need for control and to do something to alleviate that stress.
But it's interesting that you
Um,
said that you know that rationally you're like,
mhm.
obviously I didn't do that, but that it won't let you move past it unless you go and check. Because it's
So
like, it's almost
actually,
like two minds at the same
yeah.
time.
So actually, that is probably the most frustrating part of it.
Yeah.
Um, it's like rationally, I know. Like I used to have this intrusive thought, and I'll get into the themes a little bit, but I used to have this thought that if I didn't go downstairs in the middle of the night and drink orange juice, my whole family would die. Okay? Like, where does that come from?
And when did that start? How old were you when that happened?
I was like 9 years old. Yeah.
And did you know where that came from? Did
Nope. I knew I'll get into it, but I knew like my brain started to get very intense and I started to have all these thoughts, all these completely random, like weird, specific thoughts, like if you don't go drink orange juice, your parents are gonna die. And I felt that responsibility. And it
yeah,
felt like, listen, I understood it was so ridiculous and absurd and like it didn't make any sense, but the consequences didn't feel worth like
taking
risking
that
it.
risk.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'll just go do it. And that's the compulsion to kind of alleviate the stress. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about the themes, but yeah, it's really weird.
I mean, it's got to be so, like you said, debilitating to have, but also it's fascinating the way you're explaining it, and so my brain just wants to understand it even more. But the positive, I guess, would be that because they know it's this one chemical imbalance, do you feel a significant difference with the SSRIs? Do you feel like they fix?
100%.
Okay, so that's
100%.
good.
Yes. I mean, when I first went on them, I like honest answer, I don't know where I would be without them.
Hmm.
And medication is 100% a tool. Therapy is also a huge thing, which I'll talk about.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I don't like I was going crazy, truly. Like, and I
Yeah.
was 9, 10 years old. Like I was little and it was really lonely and it was really scary. And like anyone who goes through that process, is it's scary. But for someone that young, it was really scary to deal with that. Um,
How did your sorry? How did your parents handle that? How did they?
can I come back to that?
Yes, of course. Okay, I'm gonna stop asking questions now.
No,
Just
no,
you.
no, no, I appreciate it. I just want to
Uh,
talk a little bit more about like how it manifests and then I'll
yeah.
talk about my personal experience.
Okay.
Okay, so there are a lot of like themes, they're called like OCD themes, and I'm not going to cover all of them. Some of them are more common than others. I'm going to talk about a few that I've experienced.
Hmm.
There are some that are more sensitive and kind of disturbing, I guess is a good word for it that I'm not going to talk about. It's a deeper conversation, and unfortunately, there's a lot of stigmatization online about it. So,
Okay.
hopefully, in the future, if you're ever interested, I would love to chat with you about it. But for
What do
this
you mean?
starting
I think I
out,
got a little confused on that one. What do you mean? There's ones that are just, there's elements of OCD that
it's just like we all like a lot of the thoughts that people with OCD have are disturbing to us.
got it. Okay.
Like because
Okay.
it's ego dystonic, basically meaning that it's the opposite of what you want, what you value.
Okay.
So if I have an intrusive thought about like what if I ran that person over, it doesn't mean I'm a violent person. It means I don't want to be a violent person. And like that's just an example, but there are themes that are like violence and sex and stuff like that that are
Got it.
more disturbing to the public, and like people don't aren't ready to accept that it's like not what we actually want, it's what we're afraid of wanting,
It's
you know
just
what I mean?
misunderstood. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like even saying that, I'm like I'm saying too much, but like yeah, it's really just
I'm sorry.
misunderstood and people don't aren't ready to accept that, but I would love
Okay.
to have more conversations in the future about it.
I would love that too. I find that
um
fascinating.
yeah, so there is contamination OCD, which is one of the themes, which is the fear of like germs and being harmed or
Mm.
harming others.
Yep.
I definitely have this. The compulsions are like constantly washing your hands, avoiding people or places. Like the number of social events I've missed out on just because I'm so scared of like getting sick is
Hmm.
like ridiculous. Constant mental calculations. Like when my OCD was really bad, when I was like 10 or 11, I was constantly tracking like who touched what, and it was just like taking up
Wow.
all of my mental space. So if someone touched, the bathroom door and then touched the fridge handle and then touched the plastic bag and then I touched that before I was eating, I would have to wash my hands in between all those steps.
Got it.
Um, so that's like the debilitating aspect of it. Like it really takes up all your mental space and like time. Like it's time consuming.
Yeah. And you're
Um,
not able to use that mental space for other things, like what you're
right,
saying. So yeah.
right, yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, so there's like checking OCD, which I kind of mentioned before, which is like the repetitive behaviors to prevent harm. So like
Mhm.
I would sneak downstairs and like drink orange juice because I felt like my parents would get hurt if I did it. And like again, so ridiculous. I understood that rationally, but it
Mhm.
didn't feel worth risking.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually told my parents, I don't know how we got into this conversation, but I was talking to them over the weekend and I told them that. And they were like, "What?" Like they had no idea.
That you were
Um,
doing that.
they knew I was going downstairs and drinking orange juice. They thought I was being a bad kid and like sneaking it at night.
No. I had no idea. Wow.
um, so it's kind of funny because like they just had no idea, and I didn't tell them because if I told them, it also felt like I was risking them getting hurt. Like
Yeah.
it had to be something that I bared alone, and
Mm.
that's very stressful, obviously. But
Yeah.
um, there's like false memory OCD, which convinces you did something bad and like forgot about it, like running someone over, or like I don't know. That's the best example I can think of right now.
It's a strong one.
Um,
No, that makes sense.
like I feel like we've all had that thought where we like hit something and we're like, what if that was a person?
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
I've ever thought person, but I definitely thought I've like hit something that I wasn't supposed to hit. Absolutely.
Okay,
I'm
so
like, was
that's
that a
just
pothole?
me.
Was that a thing? No, it's not just you. I'm sure there's a ton of other people. I'm just trying to think if I've ever had that exact thought. Not to make you feel like
No, no,
that's
it's okay.
like, just to be clear. Like, I think I was just thinking of like, have I ever thought that? I was like, I don't know if I've thought that one. The bridge one
Yeah,
earlier, I definitely have done that one. Like,
yeah,
so like there's definitely ones that I resonate with and other ones that I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I've done that one. But someone out there has.
yes, yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
There's like harm OCD, which is like fear of, hold on, everything. There we go. Fear about wanting to hurt yourself or others. So
Uh,
like, when I was in a pretty depressed state, I would
yeah.
have a lot of self-harm thoughts. Not because I wanted to harm myself, but because it was a really hard time. And instead of being able to understand that it was not a personal desire, that I didn't actually want to, it
Yeah.
like scared me. Like,
Mm.
also, again, I'm like 10 years old. I was like, why am I having thoughts about not wanting to live or not wanting to live like this at
Wow.
10 years old? And it was really scary. And yeah, so there are a lot of like self-harm, harming others thoughts that, again, don't align with what you actually want, but they kind of convince you that because you're having the thought, it must be because deep down that's what you want. That's really the root of it. The idea that, like, because you have this thought, it must mean that it is your deepest, darkest desire, or else it wouldn't have popped into your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're basically fighting with your mind, it sounds like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Wow. And so would you say when this all I want you to keep on track. But sorry, just
So
if
let's
you're
let's let's jump into it because I
yeah,
think yeah.
like was OCD line did you also get diagnosed with depression, or was the OCD and the depression as one, like was it just under the OCD?
That's a great question. I think when I was diagnosed, it was just OCD, and now,
Mhm.
like, whenever I take like those, those like, um, what's it called? Like those diagnostic tests for like the
At the
depression
hospital?
scale. No, no, no,
Yeah.
just like,
In general?
I don't know. I have to do it for therapy like every once in a while. They
Yeah,
like
yeah,
do
yeah.
depression
That's what I
scale.
meant. Yeah.
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 Um, yeah, I was like 100% had some areas of depression, but it was kind of considered under the OCD.
Got it.
Um, so they're not really separate. The same way, like I've been diagnosed with anxiety, OCD, and depression, but the anxiety and OCD, I mean, anxiety and depression are a result of the OCD.
Got it. One
Yeah,
basically it
it's an
causes the other.
umbrella. It
Mhm.
really covers everything.
You're like fun. I love this.
So fun.
Yeah.
So like around 8 or 9, I started to realize that my brain was getting really intense. And my
Mhm.
parents and I were like, what the heck? But also, we kind of chalked it up to like growing pains, like starting middle school. Well, that wasn't starting middle school. Like, I think I was 10 when I started middle school. I'm young for my grade.
Okay.
Um, Starting middle school, just all these big changes, puberty, like all these things. We kind of were like, you know what? This is probably normal and it's just stressful.
Hmm.
Um, Sixth grade, it started to get really, really bad. And I remember there was like a 2 year period from like fifth to like after sixth grade that I was not sleeping at all. I was getting maybe 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. I was like basically up all night, like pacing, having panic attacks, um, going into my parents' room and like confessing all of these thoughts because like it made me feel less alone and it made me feel less guilty. And I
Hmm.
just like was not functioning. The thing that made it difficult is I am a very good student and I am like, I was able to completely mask it the rest of my life. Like, in every aspect of my life other than going to sleep at night, I was like completely fine. I had
Hmm.
friends, I was able to get good grades, I had a good social life, like I was able to do all the things. And so for my parents, they were like, listen, she has a lot of trouble sleeping, but she seems like she's doing great otherwise. And even now, kind of the same thing. Like, even when I'm having a lot of trouble internally, I am able to do really well externally, which is a blessing and a curse.
I was gonna say that's got to be a lot of. I mean, there's because that's still going on in your head. I'm assuming like everything is still happening. You're just having to almost compartmentalize. I'm assuming to just
Yeah.
function in the moment.
The reason nighttime is so hard is, as everyone can relate to, like, as soon as you lay down, you're like trying to quiet your mind. That's when it's most
Ugh,
active.
it's the worst. Yes.
Um, so like during the day, I mean, it was still hard. Like I was washing my hands probably 100 of times a day. My hands were
Oh,
like bleeding, like it was bad. And doing all sorts of other compulsions, like drinking orange juice or whatever. I don't even
yep.
know.
Yep.
Um, but I had things to distract me, and it was really when I went to bed that I didn't. I actually have a twin who I shared a room. Yeah, I know you didn't know
Wait,
that.
you're a twin? You have a
I
twin?
do. I do.
Oh my God. I'm
We're
always
very different.
fascinated by twins, so I'm like shocked right now that this is
Um,
like.
I
Sorry.
yes, yes.
Okay, continue with what you were gonna say. I have so many questions. Okay.
Another time, another time.
Okay.
So we shared a room until like 14. So like my twin was just sleeping soundly every night, and I was like pacing in our room and just like crying, and it was so sad. Like thinking back, it makes me so sad, like to see that. But
But your twin doesn't have this either. Like it doesn't have this
no,
as
no,
well.
no, no.
That's oh, my brain is so
Well, we're not.
fascinated.
So we're fraternal, so we
Okay.
don't have the same genetics. Is a big factor.
Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes. Okay. I
if
should
we
have
were
started with that.
identical, that's a whole other question. They probably
Mhm.
would have OCD, but who knows? Um, yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so the beginning of my like recovery journey. So
Mm.
summer after sixth grade, my family and I took a vacation to Mexico for a month.
Okay.
And that was like the final straw for me, like moving to another country, not being at home. I like had a mental breakdown in a foreign country. And it was kind of this big wind up. Like for 2 years, I wasn't sleeping. I was having panic attacks all the time. My parents had no idea why I was so hysterical at night. They wanted to help me, but they didn't know what was wrong. Like it didn't feel like there was something to solve other than to comfort me. And
Mhm.
like they did what they could. Like they comforted me, they consoled me, they helped me through, but other than that, they had no idea what could be done.
Yeah.
So in Mexico, I had a mental breakdown essentially, and I was taken to we kept trying to find a doctor that spoke English because like it took a little while. We found a psychiatrist, and he was like, "Yeah, this is very clearly OCD." Um, so it
Wow.
was like written all over me, and it was so relieving.
I bet.
Um, I mean, to hear that I was like OCD is one of like there are a lot of disorders that make you feel crazy, but OCD is literally your mind like fighting you at every single instance and convincing you that you're a terrible person, that you're doing all the wrong things, that because you're having these thoughts, that means you want them to happen. Like it is so stressful. Um, so so I got diagnosed, and pretty much immediately I started SSRIs. And
Okay.
I don't think I started therapy until we got home, which was a couple weeks later.
Okay.
But I mean, immediately, huge shift. I was sleeping, I was happy. It was amazing. I remember the day after I was put on drugs, like, I have never felt that good in my life.
You're like, yes,
Like,
finally.
I could think about things
Yeah.
other than, like, being stuck in my brain. And that's why, I mean, any mental health disorder, but I hate the stigmatization around medication. Um,
Mm.
I hate that like it's not viewed as a tool. Like it's not any different than getting medication for a physical injury or anything like that. Like it is different in that it is mental, but it is a chemical imbalance. There is nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. I will say
Like
that's sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, no, no. I was just gonna say like there are things you can do to help, like
Mhm.
therapy and like rewiring your chemical like what's it called? Like your pathways. But
Mhm.
other than that, like it's literally just a lack of chemicals, and those chemicals make you happy. They make your brain work. And so if that's not working, if that's not balanced, you gotta take something to help with that.
Yeah. Whether it's chemical or hormonal, like it happens
Right.
with, I think people start, especially with women, when it becomes hormonal, they take it more seriously a little bit. It's interesting that it feels like the chemical imbalance because it deals
It's
with the brain in the
it's
same
like
way.
not justified.
Yeah, in a weird way, it's kind of like, oh no, something's just wrong with you.
You know
But
what's
if it's,
crazy?
yeah.
So I'm taking because I'm working on a psychology major right now.
Hmm.
But I'm taking a psych class called Psychology of Happiness, and she
Oh.
showed us this video
Hmm.
about how like depression and anxiety can, I don't want to say cured, but can be like alleviated without medicine.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, like there is some truth in that. They can't 100% get all the way there without medication, but like for some people, you don't need medication.
Yeah.
So I went up to her after class and I was like, this is very interesting. What do you think about OCD? And what she said to me was crazy. She said, I think people with OCD are searching for a deeper spiritual meaning, which completely dismissed just science.
Wow.
Mind you, she's a psychologist. Like, she has a psychology degree. Um, and so it just like, and then my OCD was like, wait, what if that's true? What if this is all your fault? What if like,
Oh,
then
you
my
started
OCD took me there and
spiraling.
I started spiraling. I was like, what the hell?
It's hard though, because I think that's the thing is she has an opinion based on
Right.
her
She
feelings.
did
And
say,
that's,
like, she did
yeah.
say, this is not scientifically backed. This is my personal opinion. But it is like, I feel like it was a harmful opinion. And I did ask. So, like, that's on
Mm.
me. But it did make me spiral because I was like, listen, is there something, because it kind of makes me feel like there's something wrong with me and that like I'm not living life as I need to be or as I want to be. And it kind of, you know what I mean? Like it kind of puts it on me instead of being like science shows us it is a chemical imbalance that causes these loops.
Do you feel like it's the judgment or the shame around it that, or the same, like that you were saying kind of earlier, that makes you want to spiral when that's said to you? Because I wish it could be a thing where like someone says their opinion and you can just go, okay, that's your opinion. I mean, it's interesting that she's a teacher of it, or at least psychology. But that being said, like it, because I wish, my brain wants to go to like, how do you minimize the effect of other people having opposing views and opinions on it? And I
The
don't know
best
what the answer
answer,
to that is.
well, the thing is, it's so ironic because my OCD made me spiral about having OCD.
Yeah.
Like you, if someone said that to you and you don't have OCD, I don't think, like, I don't know.
No, I don't. I don't. Not that I know. I mean, I haven't been
You would be
diagnosed.
aware. I
I'm pretty.
promise you that.
I'm pretty sure I would know. But
If
that's
someone said that to you, you would probably be like, huh, that's weird coming from a professional, but like, you know what? That's their opinion. For me,
yeah,
it
yeah.
made me rethink my entire 10 years of having it and like it made me
Just that one
spiral.
comment.
And this was like 2 weeks ago. Like it was pretty recent.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about it a lot. So I don't know, it was just weird to hear and it kind of just goes to show how like relevant OCD is even in my life now that I've gotten it under control. Like even though I didn't go and have a panic attack, like it
Mm.
was consuming my brain for a couple days and yeah, it bothered me.
Did you talk? Did you follow up with her and have another conversation with her?
Maybe I will. I think I told my therapist and
Yeah.
she literally laughed. She was like, so that's not factual. That's not there's no evidence for any of that and she did say like that really minimizes um the struggle. Minimize,
Yeah.
what's the right word? It really like diminishes or um
I'm trying to think of the word too.
you know
Maybe
what
this
I'm
is the
saying
lack
though.
of caffeine. I do, but I'm like, I'm
Dismisses.
struggling
It
with words
dismisses.
today. Um,
Dismisses.
but it dismisses it and also minimizes it
And it
100%.
yeah, it just makes me feel like I have it because it's something I'm doing wrong instead of like genetics and environment and really those are the things that cause any like anxiety, depression, like all of these things are a mixture of genetics, upbringing, environment, like all those things.
And like you said, it's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
Like it's not something you can just say, let me just flip a switch and turn this off. It sounds like it's something that is it's a chemical imbalance. Like you said, the science is there. You're
The
like,
science is there. And I looked up, I actually like I started looking up. I went online and I was like, is there any evidence that people with OCD have like are having like because she was like suggesting I was having like a midlife crisis or something. And I was like, was I
oh, she
really
said more. Like
no,
she
no,
went
no, no,
into it.
no.
Oh,
But it just like felt like if she's saying I'm looking for a spiritual like deeper meaning, it felt like that was kind of saying I'm having like a crisis of identity. Like that's how I interpreted it at least.
yeah.
Um, maybe that was just me, but like that's how I hear that. And so I look like also at age 9, do we think a 9-year-old was having a crisis, an identity crisis?
So
Like
wait,
no.
this was a teacher at age 9.
No, no. I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm
I'm so
confusing you.
confused. Sorry.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
at 9, you're saying that you were having
Right.
because you had this since you were 9. She was
Right.
yes. Okay. Sorry. I was like, wait a second. Take me back. Is this the teacher you
No.
have now?
This is
Okay.
the teacher I have now.
Yes, it was 2 weeks
Um,
ago. I'm caught up. Okay.
okay. I'm glad. Sorry, I'm like all over the place.
No, you're not at all. I think my lack of caffeine might be a culprit too.
I know, Danielle, you gotta get it together.
Ugh.
This is why I'm not starting caffeine.
Oh yeah, no. Once you do, but it always is good for me to get off of it for a while, and then I'll go back. I know I will, but it's good to stop for a little bit.
Okay. A lot of people use it. It's all good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um,
Okay, sorry. Back on track. So you haven't had a follow-up conversation, but it did make you spiral because she minimized and dismissed OCD
yeah.
and basically everything about you. Yes, I'm kind of shocked. I'm shocked that a teacher of all people had that approach, but it's interesting. I don't know. I have so many more questions to ask just about this person in general now because I'm kind of like, is she just someone that doesn't believe in science at all? Because there is that train of thought as well that I've heard.
I can't imagine so. She's a psychologist.
I mean, I would not assume so, but it's just like for her to
Oh.
say that from a spiritual standpoint, like when she was saying it had to do with spirituality, it's
Hmm.
kind of like, I wonder if she doesn't take the science seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I'm
think,
fascinated by that. I'm just fascinated by the statement. I'm fascinated by that, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk
yeah,
about her. We're here to talk
yeah.
about continue on with your
I told
journey and
myself
what
I
you were
wouldn't
saying.
bring it up, and then I was like, it's too interesting to not talk about.
It is interesting. I have it brings up more questions than
I
answers.
also have questions. I
Yeah.
also have questions,
Yeah.
which I will
Okay.
not be asking, but it's fine. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay, so I got diagnosed.
Hmm.
Life started to get better. I started going to therapy. Um, the things that I personally struggled with a lot, again, were like contamination OCD.
Okay.
So I was, again, having these fears about getting sick. My biggest fear, I have like really bad emetophobia. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, emetophobia is the fear of throwing up. Um, no one likes it. Obviously, it's a very unpleasant experience, but it is
Yeah.
like the most terrifying thing that could happen to me. And like given that it's like a normal thing that happens, especially, oh my God, on college campuses, wow, it is stressful.
Because you're afraid. What is the fear? What's behind the fear? Are you afraid of when it's going to happen, or if it's going to happen, or everything?
If, like
If it's
all of
going to
it.
happen.
Yeah. So, like all of it. Unfortunately, with my OCD, I have developed pretty bad IBS, which happens to a lot of people. Um, I've developed high blood pressure, I've developed IBS, insomnia. Like it has a lot of physical manifestations
Hmm.
from just so many years of being so anxious. And the IBS makes me feel really nauseous a lot of the time. And because my biggest fear is throwing up, it's like then it's a loop.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, well, I feel nauseous, so I'm probably gonna throw up. And then I panic because I that's my biggest fear. And then I get more nauseous. And then it's just like it's so
But I'm
bad.
assuming, does it also flare up the IBS because of the anxiety?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm saving my questions for later. I want to continue on your what you have planned.
Um yeah, the other things for me were a lot of the things that are like scary for 9 year olds. And
Yeah.
honestly everyone, but like especially at 9, so like drinking, drugs, sex, violence, self-harm. Those were a lot of the big themes for me. And I won't go into like specific thoughts I had, but like pretty much anything along those lines was very stressful for me to deal with. And it was also hard for me to talk to my therapist about. Because
Mm.
again, at this age, like I hadn't had experience like I understood that OCD was not what I really was thinking and wanted, but I didn't feel comfortable telling my therapist like my darkest thoughts. Like they were
Of
so
course.
scary to me and they
Yeah.
felt so real that I was like, if I say it out loud, I'm manifesting it. And
Hmm.
so I kept it to myself. And you're not going to get anywhere in therapy keeping things to yourself. Let's
No.
be very honest.
Yeah.
So I eventually, started opening up and now I'm very open. I've had I've had like I'm on like therapist number 12, I think.
Okay.
Because I've had very bad luck.
Oh no.
Not finding a good therapist, but keeping a good therapist. Somehow, like 9 out of 12 of them have either gotten pregnant and never came back or switched insurance. So I've
Mm.
had like really good ones that I loved and then immediately had to switch. And it's been really hard because, like, again, you kind of start over with every therapist. Like, you have to start
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yep.
They're not like talking to each other.
No.
You gotta put in the work. So I just started therapy like 5 weeks ago for the first time in 2 years.
Hmm.
I think I was in 12th grade, I was in a really good place
Hmm.
right before
That's
college,
great.
and I had decided she was switching insurance, so it was
Hmm.
kind of a stopping point.
Yeah.
If she wasn't, I probably would have stayed, but because she was, and I was just tired of starting over, I was like, listen, let's try. Let's try and see
Hmm.
if I can manage. And I'm very pro therapy. I think everyone should be in therapy, but I kind of wanted to prove to myself, like, can I do this?
Yeah.
And for a while, it was all good. And then I moved into college, and wow, what a poor, what a poor choice. I mean,
No.
who decides to like stop therapy at one of the biggest life transitions? Like, I don't know what I was thinking.
No, no, don't do that to yourself though. But like, because honestly, too, I get that when you're like, oh no, things are going great. Like, I don't need it right now, and I don't want to have to start from square one with a new person. So you were doing what felt right, and then of course, like
It
life hits
backfired. It
you,
did backfire.
but also it just hits you, in the face, and you're like, oh, never mind, okay. But the thing is you already have the tools to go. Okay, I need to find a therapist. Like you had
Yeah.
those tools in your
Yes. And I'm
toolbox.
so lucky to have like really good healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
to have access to that. Because again, like same with
Yeah,
medication, I feel so grateful because I don't know like where I would be without it. It's such an important tool, and I know there are people out there that just don't have access to those resources,
yeah.
which I know you kind of talked about with someone else you brought on, but
Mhm.
it's hard, and I'm very grateful that I have it. But I was like, I don't have the energy to start over now, and so then like things kept getting more and more stressful, and all my symptoms were getting worse and worse, and only until recently I was like, okay, you need to just do it, and it'll suck at first, and then you'll be
Yeah.
happy. And I love my new therapist; she's great,
Mm.
which is good. It's lucky. And she told me she's not going anywhere, so.
You're like, please,
Please.
please. Do you
I have
do
trust issues.
no understandable? Do you do in person or tele on the computer or the phone? Which one do you prefer?
I do on the computer. Yeah.
Okay.
We can actually just go into like what does therapy look like, because there's like a
Yeah.
specific kind of therapy for people with OCD.
Oh, I
It's
didn't know
not,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
So it's
fascinating.
called exposure therapy. It's pretty much what
Okay.
it sounds like. Basically, you take these intrusive thoughts and these obsessions and you
Hmm.
expose yourself to them,
Okay.
without being allowed to do the compulsion that eases the anxiety. So for someone with contamination OCD, that might be going and touching a toilet seat and not being allowed to wash your hands for 20 minutes. And
Oh,
like, that's disgusting for everyone. But for someone whose biggest fear that is like your body goes into fight or flight mode. And so basically, you kind of do that exposure over and
yeah.
over until it no longer controls you. Um, so there's like a whole
Wow.
other world out there. Yeah. So it's not just talk therapy.
Do you do that? You don't do that in the session. Is it, does she kind of give you, or do you, does she kind of give you a list of things that you need to do kind of until the next session?
Both, both.
Okay.
I do a lot less now because that was more of a thing when I was first diagnosed.
Got it.
And it kind of ebbs and flows. It's funny, like I was when I was like thinking about what to talk about, I was like, oh, I don't do exposure therapy anymore. And then the next day I had therapy, and she was like, listen, to get over this fear of like throwing up, I
Mm-hmm.
want you to, when you feel really nauseous and scared, I want you to put the trash can in front of you and pretend that it's gonna happen. And so that's been my exposure recently.
Got it.
And it's so funny because I was like, I'm done with exposures. I don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
And it
And
kind
then
of
one,
ebbs and
here it
flows.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here it is. And it is so useful. Like it
Yeah.
really makes a difference. And it is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It is so difficult because like it feels like you're exposing yourself to your biggest fear and there's nothing you can do about it.
And then what else about, so if you're in, like, how do you feel if you're in public and you have to grab a trash can? Does that also feel, do you feel embarrassment around those things? Do you have to even get past that? Or is that not something you feel? Maybe that's not something that even comes up for you.
That's not something that's actually like happened. Um,
Oh, great. It's never happened like in a
yeah,
public setting like that. Okay.
yeah, because usually it
Okay.
will happen like late at night.
Okay.
Um, and like when I'm going to bed and my thoughts are really loud, I'll start to get really feel
Got
really
it.
sick.
Got it.
Um, I have, felt nauseous in public settings, of course, before all the
Yeah.
time. I'm nauseous all the time, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
um, I think, I don't know, that's a good question. I've never done an exposure in public.
Okay.
I think it would be embarrassing. I probably would feel embarrassed, but also like it's more stressful to be in a public setting and do that. And it's also like a really personal experience.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I was like, does this have to happen if you're in
I'm
public as well?
no, generally I think when you're like assigned exposures by a therapist, make it as comfortable as possible.
Got it.
You're not actually put in a threatening situation.
Okay.
Um, like if your biggest fear is getting hit by a car, that your therapist is not going to tell you to go
No.
stand in front of a moving car. Like
Yes. That's the extreme. Yes. Don't do that.
right. Right.
Well, I wonder
So
what it would be for something like that, though. Would be
I
interesting
don't
to know.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I'll
Yeah.
ask my therapist.
I'd be interested to know.
But generally, like, yeah, generally OCD is less about like, okay, what if this scary thing happens? And it's more like, it's more irrational things, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, it's, yeah,
Yeah.
they're more illogical than like a genuine fear, like getting hit by a car. Like, that's valid.
Yes, that is valid. But like you went back to not drinking the orange juice or your parents will, die. Like that was it, obviously of exposure therapy period would have been like don't drink the orange juice, right? You had to practice not drinking the orange juice. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it. You got it. Um, so yeah, it's really hard. I do it a lot less. There is that one that I talked about, but other than that, like it was more of a thing when I was younger, but I did want to
Yeah.
talk about it because it's like such an interesting part of therapy, and it's like completely
Mhm.
different than just like talk therapy. Um, and the other thing too is
It
that like
is.
therapists are not allowed to reassure you. So like the thing when I was going, having panic attacks every night and going to my parents' room and confessing, okay, what if, I had this bad thought and that means I'm a bad person? Like,
Ah.
what if that? And my parents would be like, that's ridiculous. Like, you're not a
Yeah.
bad person. You're a great person. Just because you're worrying about it so much means you don't want it to happen. Like, that's the
Yeah.
root of OCD. Because it disturbs you so much is the reason. Like, it's because you don't want it. If it didn't disturb you, you wouldn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so they would, because they didn't know any better. They were like, listen, I just want to comfort my daughter. I want her to stop crying. I want her to feel safe. And when I got to therapy, they were like, yeah, you need to stop doing that. My
Mm.
parents were told you need to stop comforting her, or not comforting, but like reassuring.
Yeah.
Um, you have to stop telling her that it's just a thought, or that it doesn't mean anything. You can say like, I'm gonna sit here with you and you're safe, but you can't say, okay, that's like a stupid thought, it doesn't mean anything, it's your OCD. Like, and up to this day they can't say it.
Wow.
And in therapy, if I say like a really distressing thought, my therapist will just sit there and go, okay, thanks for sharing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what I want you to say.
You want the reassurance, basically,
Yeah.
but you can't. But why? It's so interesting. Why does the reassurance not help? Did they explain that?
Yeah, so sorry, I like forgot the very crucial part. The reason is because it reinforces the behavior for the next time.
There you
So
are.
it
Did I
like,
pause? I'm back.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry, I'm here.
you're good. Did I pause?
No, I have time limits set on social media
Oh no.
on my phone, and so it reached the time limit for the day, and it was like, "Would you like another 15 minutes?" So I was like, "No, I need all day. Just give me all day." Sorry.
Um, no, you're fine. I was just saying, yes, that's a great question. I forgot the crucial
Yes.
part of it, which is
Mhm.
it reinforces the behavior for the next time. So, like, the reassurance temporarily relieves
Yeah.
the stress. But 10 minutes later, I'm going back in their room and confessing again.
Got it.
Um, so it just reinforces the behavior, and I become reliant on someone else's comfort instead of figuring out how to self-soothe,
Solve
basically.
it yourself, basically. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's
Yeah.
fascinating, though. It's almost like
Um,
a love approach to it, you know?
hmm?
It's like a tough love approach to it.
Yes,
Like,
very much.
yes, I
My
hear
parents,
you.
when they first heard that, they were like, "No, I don't want her to be stressed." Like,
Yeah. Because you
and
feel like the result would be that it would make it worse. But I get
mhm.
what you're
And it
saying. Of
does. It
course,
does in the
it
moment. It
does.
does.
Okay.
It
Okay.
does. But in the long run, it really helps. 100.
Wow.
Um,
Fascinating. Okay.
yeah. Okay. I think let's do some questions.
Okay. I was like, let me see which
That was a
ones we have.
lot. That was a lot.
No, and thank you for all of that. Um, I think I tried to stick some of the questions I'll forget that I thought of, but maybe they'll come back to
Yeah.
me. Um, okay, someone already, yes, we explained OCD. What was the first sign? We talked about the first sign and symptom was the orange juice in the middle of the night, right? Was that the first one that you can
No.
remember?
That was the first like intrusive thought, or first um compulsion I remember. But I
Yeah,
remember like being 8 years old and like just stressing more than usual about like random things.
got it.
So honestly, like the first sign is like having a thought and not being able to let go of it, even if it wasn't like causing me to do certain actions like yet. that was kind of the first sign.
That's what's hard though, because I feel like
Yeah,
I don't,
it happens
I
to
don't know.
everyone.
That's what I mean. Like, how do you start to differentiate between just anxiety and overthinking? And then obviously, I mean, you're having when you have the compulsions, that takes it into a whole another category. But it's just interesting that like I feel like do we all overthink and like have
Yes,
anxiety to some
100%.
extent?
It's
At least
it's
I think.
when it's when it completely takes over all your brain space.
Like you can't do
Um,
anything else.
and I think also, yeah, like when you literally cannot have another thought.
Okay.
Like when like it's literally the best way I can explain it is like, you have the thought period and then you start over. Like it's just
Yeah.
on loop over and over. And like there were days where I like couldn't eat several like I couldn't eat enough because I was
Got
so
it.
like I like it's you'll know.
Okay.
And if you don't yet, that's okay. And like you will eventually. But
Got it.
yeah, like it's hard because there is general anxiety about things. And then there's this more specialized version that can be a lot different and
Mhm.
manifest in different ways. So it's a good question, but it is hard to tell.
My question would be, how did they know that you had a deficiency?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Am I frozen? Was I frozen?
Okay, you weren't frozen. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was just silent. Um, how did they know you had a deficiency in serotonin? Was there a test that you took?
No, I think it's just like a thing they know about people with OCD, and because it was so apparent that I had OCD, they were like,
Interesting.
"Yeah,
I wish they could run a test for that, just so you like basically when you run like because that's what's interesting when you have a chemical or a hormonal imbalance. They know because they can run estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, like they can run those things. I wish they could do that with
the
serotonin and
testing,
dopamine, things like that.
the test is put you on medication and see if it helps." I think.
That's gotta be
Which is
so
not a good
scary.
answer. Yeah, it's not a good
Yeah.
answer. It's not satisfying and it is stressful and it's scary because, like, I personally am on too many medications for the side effects of my OCD, like for my IBS and high blood pressure and
Got it.
insomnia. And, like, I want to be on as few medications as possible because they just give you more side effects. And it's just like, it's not good to be on so many medications unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Um, so it's hard. Like, if I could not be on an SSRI, I would love to do that. And
Yeah.
maybe at some point in my life, I'll be able to. I hope so. But also, I am very hard on myself. Personally, I have internalized a lot of that, like what I was saying before about the stigmatization of, mental health issues. Like, I will tell everyone else, there is no problem with you needing some extra help. But I do not have that self-compassion for myself, unfortunately. And it's
Yeah.
something I'm working on. I know
Okay.
it's very common. Um, but yeah, for some reason, it's okay for everyone else, not okay for me.
Yes. I always like that book Self Compassion by Kristen Neff. Like
Yeah, I'm
I
literally researching her right now.
yeah, no, that book changed my life. So yeah, self compassion is an important one because yeah, you
Yes.
shouldn't also be sitting there being like it almost feels like you do have a little bit of shame around being on an SSRI because you're afraid of how people judge you for it. Is what I'm hearing. Would that be accurate
Yeah,
to an extent?
there's also that element of like, it's like a deep question, but like if I need this medication to be happy and to be myself, then who am I
Yeah,
without it? Like
got it.
am I not myself because I'm on a medication that makes me feel better? Is my true
Mhm.
self the one without any of this extra help? And that's a whole other conversation. But
Which is
it is
interesting. Go. Oops, sorry. Yeah.
no, it's just like that is the element that I'm like, am I living authentically because I need some extra help with brain chemicals?
Yeah, which just makes sense why the teacher also makes you go into such a spiral because it also sounds like it's something that obviously you're in your own mind or like, what if I
Yeah,
wasn't on this? Am I? And so that you almost took it as like, it is, if she's right, then I'm wrong and I've been doing everything wrong,
yeah,
is what I
exactly.
was kind of, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I hope that me saying that doesn't make you It
No, no,
doesn't cut.
no.
Okay.
No, I like it because you worded exactly my thought process. Like it was
Okay.
stressful for a reason because like my biggest fear other than like throwing up obviously, but my like actual biggest fear is being a bad person, not
Mm.
being lovable, like like come back to Maya Bishop, but like not being lovable and spreading harm instead of joy. And I am such a loving person, and all I want to do is spread joy and happiness and make the world a better place. And so when my OCD convinces me that I am all the opposite things, it's very distressing. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
Um, I'm gonna look at the questions. It's just, it's kind of shocking too. It's like to live with that just sounds, it's overwhelming. Um, okay, let me see. Let's see. You kind of answered this, but if there's anything you want to add, you said, how does living with OCD affect your daily life? Like from a day-to-day standpoint, do you have anything you'd want to add? I mean, you touched on it, but is there anything that comes to mind?
I think it looks very different from when it did when I was first diagnosed.
Yeah.
Now, I don't, like, for example, I don't wash my hands all the time. You know, I wash
Mm.
my hands probably more than most people just because I'm, like, cleanly. But, like,
That reminds me
um,
of the question I had. Yes. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like okay, so like there's a compulsion that like I still can't shake just because it's become habit, but like I will turn the faucet on and off with like my pinky finger of my left hand because it is my least used finger. And so I'll like turn it on and off, and because like when my OCD was really bad, it was like okay, that's where germs are going to be and they're not on any of your other fingers. And now it's just habit and like I can't shake it. I don't even notice that I'm doing it. And people have seen
yeah.
me and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, listen. But to like daily now, it's more stresses about college, figuring out who I am, what I want.
Mm.
I've switched majors and it's been very difficult. Again, a whole other conversation. But like just kind of that like big central question, I have a lot more anxiety than the average
Mm.
person about it.
Got it.
And it feels like the end of the world, but it's a lot less of like the same sort of intrusive thoughts that I used to have. Like it does change with time and it evolves with the stage you are in life.
Okay. Oh, that was the question. Is during the, how did you manage during the pandemic?
Oh my god. I had a mental breakdown.
Okay.
I I was okay for the part where we were home.
Mm.
The transition back into society was really hard for me. I remember
Okay.
my family went to a family bar mitzvah, and it was before vaccines, but like we were all socially distanced and we were outside, and it was like before people were vaccinated, but I was so like I literally started crying at the dinner table, and I was like I can't do this. Like it was so stressful for me. Um, so it was really really hard, and yeah, like worst case scenario, I get sick, but like the worst case scenario back then was you die. Like it was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. So it was the anxiety of
I don't
the,
even know.
yeah,
I don't
that
even
was, it was
know.
such, yeah.
I was just scared and I was frustrated that people weren't following the rules and I was stressed because it felt really like what's the word? Um
I can't help with words right now. I'm sorry. I
oh,
want
it's okay.
caffeine so bad.
No, 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 it's okay. What is the
I
word?
want to help. Give me an idea. I can help this way. Give me an idea of what word you're thinking of.
Like people not thinking about others. And like
Selfish.
yes, thank you. Oh my
Oh, okay.
God. I could not think of that.
Oh, I'm so happy I was able to help. Okay.
I'm glad it was an easy one. Yes. Anyways,
Got it. People
it was
being
very stressful.
selfish. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt very selfish when people like
Mhm.
just completely, I mean, again, whole other tangent.
Yeah.
Some people don't believe in science, but it's okay.
Well,
Um,
that's the interesting thing in the world we live in, right? Is there's so many people with so many different varying opinions and thoughts, and it's so many arguments in the entire world are built on that because so many people argue about things that sometimes you're just never going to see eye to eye on.
mhm.
And I've always been fascinated by that because I'm always trying. I think I come from a place of curiosity, which is like I always want to
That's good.
understand.
That's good. People come from judgment,
Mm.
and they judge first and ask questions later. And I really like that about you, that you try to come with a neutral like position and you ask questions. I really like that.
Of course, always try to. Just to try to understand it. I feel like that's part of evolving, right? If we can try to understand where
Yeah.
everyone's coming from.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so, but I was very intrigued by when we brought that up was the pandemic is just because I can't
It was
imagine
really
what that would
hard.
have been like. Yeah. So it was hard. So, but you made it through and eventually, how long do you feel like it took you to kind of acclimate to the world kind of essentially back to normal? Like it feels like it didn't even happen some days. Like we forget, I think we forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, that exists. That happened. Um,
Probably, I mean, I wore a mask for longer than like when people weren't wearing masks
yeah,
anymore. I would say for a few months, and then I was like, I'm so over this. I don't want to wear a mask
got it.
anymore.
So
Like
eventually,
once I saw that like it really like the like herd immunity and like it became less of a threat, I was like, okay, either live your life and move on, or you live in fear for the rest of your life, and I didn't
yeah.
want that.
Yeah.
So once it didn't become like fatal and threatening, I was like, okay, I can handle this. It's still stressful. I got COVID, in the middle of the desert. Like it sucked. That's a fun story.
Did that help you when you got COVID to kind of then go, okay, I had it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I made it through. And
It's like
so
it's like with throwing up also, which
mm,
I know it's like kind of gross. Sorry to talk about it, but like
I don't find it gross.
I
Sorry for
will
anyone that
forever be
does.
impressed by people who are not bothered by it.
Really?
Oh yeah, it is like literally this like I can't. It hurts to talk about, but like it's an exposure of some sense for me to
Yeah,
talk about it more.
got it.
But like I don't know what I was saying.
I'm so sorry. I think I might have distracted you. Um, we were talking about, when you
Oh
got
yeah.
COVID.
When
And
I like
yes.
I got sick. My family and I traveled to Montana for the first time over the summer. It was a lot of fun. I got like sun poisoning, I think. Like my body, it was just
Mm.
too much. We did a bunch of really hard hikes, eat a lot of fried food. Like it was
Oh
not
yeah. Yeah.
I got sick and it sucked and it was awful and it was terrifying for me. But the next day I was like, you know what? That was not the end of the world. And
Mm.
having that like somewhat recent experience a few months ago has really helped me these past few months to deal with, the anxiety around nausea because I'm like, listen, like it is an awful experience. No one enjoys it, but you didn't die. You were okay. It lasted a few hours and then you were okay. And like I use that to help me.
Okay.
And some other things, I'm sure there was a question about like I don't know, but like what do I do to
Let me see.
get
Yeah, I'm
through
sure
it?
it's here, but definitely if you, yes. Oh, here's one. What are your top three grounding techniques?
Okay. Yeah. So
Last time.
I know like people are tired of like hearing this, but deep
Hmm.
breaths for sure. Something I really
I
like,
love the deep breaths. Yeah.
I like meditations sometimes. A lot of the
Okay.
times when I'm like really panicking, they actually don't help me.
Interesting.
Um, it actually kind of makes the anxiety worse sometimes. And that's kind of like a personal thing. Because I
Yeah.
feel like when that scene where Maya is like listening to the meditation and she's like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like shut up, like you're not helping.
Trust me. I also will say, not that this is like me saying that you'll get there eventually, because it's not, meditation is not for everyone. But I 100% was like that when I first started meditation. I was like, shut up. But like my therapist was like, just keep trying. It'll take some
Yeah.
time. And by like the 10th time, I was like, oh, oh.
Hopefully, I do need to practice it more when I'm like not in an active state of panic because you need to build that.
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
can see that.
But I really only do it when I'm like actively panicking and then it doesn't help.
Yes.
So,
Which makes
but
sense
for
too. Yeah.
me, because I have such a sensitive nervous system and I like usually get really nauseous when I'm stressed,
Mm-hmm.
ice packs. I really like ice packs. On the back
Oh.
of my neck or on my forehead, it shocks your nervous system and it kind of forces you to be present. And I really like that.
I
Um,
might use that.
yeah.
Okay.
It really, I mean, it's like if you could take an ice bath, great. Like do a
Yeah.
cold plunge. But
I
it's like
love cold plunges too. So I was like, oh,
you're crazy.
in
Um,
LA, I feel like we do all the things here. We're like, oh, cryotherapy, cold plunges, meditation. Like we just feels like we do it all.
but if you don't have access to all of that,
Yes.
an
Yeah.
ice pack really helps me, and it helps with the nausea too, like cold water, 100%.
Oh,
Taking always helps. Like
okay.
ice cold water.
Yeah.
Don't drink room temperature water, cold water. Again, it kind of shocks your nervous system. And then for me personally, I love animals more than anything.
Me
Um,
too.
my favorite activity when I'm like panicking is to look at animal photos on my phone.
That's
I'll
great.
go through my camera roll and look at all my photography and look at all the goofy animal photos, and it always helps. So find something for you personally. Maybe that's looking at animal photos, or maybe it's something else that, like, really at your core you love so much. And it doesn't solve the problem, but it does force your heart rate to slow. It forces you to, like, kind of get out of that state of panic. And yeah, those are my top three.
What was the wait? One, I heard two. What was the third? Did I miss the third?
Breathing.
Breathing. Sorry. It's always a
Or
good
going
one.
for a walk. Going for a walk. Sometimes I just need to move.
Yeah.
Last weekend I went home for the weekend and
Yeah.
I had a panic attack and I was really nauseous,
Hmm.
and I literally went for a walk at 2 a.m. around my neighborhood, and I knocked on my parents' door. I'm like, just so you know, like, so you know something, like, I'm leaving the house.
Yeah.
I'm going for a walk. And I went for a walk. Oh, you know what? Also, hot showers. I love hot showers when I
So like
feel.
those extremes, either cold or hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like it forces your nervous system to focus on something else.
yeah.
Or
Makes
like even
sense.
a fidget or like
Yeah.
something spiky. I
Fidgets are
don't know.
great.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like touch something spiky and distract yourself. Like don't hurt yourself,
No,
but
I was
like
going to say, don't injure yourself. But
yeah.
okay, let me see what else we answered that one. We've answered a lot of these.
Good.
Um, we said that when you first noticed it. Someone just newly. I mean, I think you covered this too, but they've been newly diagnosed with OCD. Any words of advice you give anyone?
Yes. The biggest message I want to get across this whole conversation is you are not alone. Um, a lot of intrusive thoughts can feel really scary, especially because they, again, are the opposite of what you want, and they feel really threatening to you and to who you are as a person. And I promise you, no matter how crazy or irrational or specific or odd they might seem, you are not the only person who has had it. Like every single thought you have had, and you're like, can I curse?
Yeah, I
You're
don't.
like,
I mean,
what
I
the
don't
fuck was
care.
that? You're like, what the fuck was that thought? I
Yeah.
promise you, someone else in the world has had it. And my
Yeah.
biggest piece of advice is try to be as vulnerable as you can if you have access to therapy, because holding yourself back is not going to get you anywhere. And the real work begins. It's the same for everything, but especially OCD. the,
Mm-hmm.
the the thoughts are very hard to voice because they feel threatening, and it feels like once you say it, you put it out there in the world. That's not true. Deep down, you
Yeah.
know it's not true, and that is what is going to help you the most. And just like realize you're not alone. Like it is really lonely. Talk about it with people. Like this is why I wanted to come on, because it is not talked about. It is so taboo, and people
Yeah.
just don't actually know anything about it other than like, oh, people are so organized. Like that is such a small part of it.
Are you someone who's very organized though? Is that a part of it, or do you not think you're that an
I have
organized person?
never, no, I've never been a person who like has arranged my colored pencil. Like
Okay.
I'm generally a clean person and I like to live in a clean space, but I have never, and it is an experience that some people have. Like that
Yeah.
is a compulsion that some people with OCD will have. Like they'll have to turn the lights on and off a certain number of
Yeah.
times or do certain repetitive behaviors because it just eases the anxiety, but it's such a small part of OCD and it only happens for some people.
Got it.
So just recognizing also that it's different in everyone, and like,
I feel like the first time I heard anyone talking about it is, correct me if I'm wrong, is Billie Eilish have OCD?
oh, I have
I
no
think
idea.
she might. I'm not
Oh,
going to
that
speak out
reminds
of
me
turn.
though.
Yeah.
I do want to recommend a book. Do you know
Yeah.
John Green, the author?
John
John
Green?
Green. Yeah.
I don't. No.
Oh, really? I thought
Yeah.
he was free. Okay.
I'm
He's
like,
a
I
great
need to search
author.
this now, though. I'm looking it up. Yes, John Green. Keep going.
The book Turtles All the Way Down.
Turtle all the
And
way down.
people, once she posts this, let me know in the comments if you've read it. But they came out with a movie. It's about
I've
this girl.
seen the cover of this, so I've definitely seen this book, but
They've
I've
come
never
out with
read
a
it.
movie, and I'm
Yeah.
usually like a book person and will recommend the book, but I actually recommend the movie more. Um, I saw it a few weeks ago, and it was shocking, and I felt so seen. I recommend the movie more because seeing all the visuals and like hearing it and seeing it and having all those components that you don't get
Yeah.
from a book was
Yeah.
very powerful. And she experiences contamination OCD. So like there's a scene where she like has a panic attack and literally drinks hand sanitizer to kill the the virus that she thinks she has. So it's like the movie is very visually intense, and I felt so seen, even though that's only a small part of my OCD.
Yeah.
Um, it's the most accurate representation I've seen out there. So
Wow.
highly recommend it. Read the book too.
Is the movie by the same name? I'm just trying to figure that out
It's
too.
yes, it's called
Okay.
Turtles All the Way Down.
Okay.
I think it's on HBO or Hulu.
Okay. I see the book. I just didn't see the movie anywhere, but I'll look that up too. Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. It made me think of something. What was the thought I had just now? Anyways, it's gone. Oh, I think I was just going to say that yes, representation does matter. It's such a huge part of it.
100%.
When you don't feel alone, I think it really, because I think that's part of the thing that I can't speak for everyone in the world, but I feel like when I talk to a lot of people, some of our biggest fears is loneliness, is feeling alone and or not having a purpose. And it just feels like that loneliness
Yeah.
factor can really be minimized if we just start talking to people. And if you
Yeah.
can't talk to people, is it a therapist? Is it a journal? Is it, something that you can get those thoughts out so you feel less alone in them?
100%. And I would love for this to be part of a bigger project for me to
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know how it would work, but I would love to talk about it more in the future. And,
Yeah.
if I plan on getting a psych degree and I plan on hopefully becoming a therapist maybe, but um
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we can start building more platforms to discuss it. And like, yeah, loneliness is a huge factor. And that's why like the thing I'm saying to everyone on this is no matter how crazy your brain is telling you you
Yeah.
are not the only one who has had that thought. I promise. Your therapist will not judge you. It is their job. They have heard crazier things. Tell them, because it will lift a weight off your chest, and that is when the real work can begin.
Yeah, that relief from just getting it out instead of it constantly being in your head. I feel I can't relate, obviously, on the same level of those,
Yeah.
but I feel like when regards to just in depression or anxiety and things, that's why I'm always an advocate of journaling because I'm like, I just need to get it out now because I
Mhm.
struggle with talking to people. I can talk to my therapist, but I struggle with talking about my feelings and emotions to just even my friends or family. So like
Yeah,
journaling and therapy has always been my like go-to because I'm like, I just have to get it, what's in here out.
a
Or
hundred percent,
yeah.
100%. I used to journal when my OCD was really bad. I used to journal every night. And sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't. The
Yeah.
thing is, like with journaling, it doesn't feel like enough for me in the sense that I'm not. Again, I'm kind of seeking that reassurance. Even now,
Mm,
I'm seeking. Even if my therapist doesn't tell me, okay, like you're not a bad person or whatever, just her knowing and like continuing to work with me is like enough reassurance that I'm like not a bad person. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just writing it down in a journal is not enough for me. Um, and maybe that's something I need to work on.
No, but it's great that it just sounds like you need that. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing is like you need that non-judgmental person to just hear you and not, and basically see them not be like, what? Oh my God, that's
Right,
it's
right,
at least you're not getting the reassurance, but you're also not getting someone tell
right,
you you're
right.
it seems
Which
like
again, if your therapist was truly concerned for your safety or others, they would say
they
something.
would. Yes,
So like they have to.
yeah, it's true.
So it
It's
is
so
it
true.
is reassurance in that sense. Even though it's
Oh my
not like
God, I just
yeah,
looked at the
I
time.
know,
We've been
I know,
talking
I
for an
know.
hour and 15 minutes.
We got into it.
No. Finish your sentence. So I didn't mean that, and then I'm gonna look through if there's any other questions, and then we
No,
should
I think
wrap
I'm
it up.
done. I'm done. I answered it.
No, there's nothing. I didn't mean to. I was shocked at the time because it
What was
feels
the
like it.
question? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Okay. I think we were just talking, we kind of finished that sentence as therapists,
Yeah.
obviously, if there is something wrong, they would say something. Um, I think we kind of did cover it all. I'm not seeing anything that stands out as like a brand new question. I hear that you.
Yeah, I think it's not like, I won't use the word common, but it's not as uncommon as people think. I think I read a statistic that was like 20% of the world has
Has
OCD.
OCD.
Yeah.
Here's one question that I what do you think it is? I think we said that you answered that. Okay, how best can I support a family member with OCD? Was something, I mean, you kind of touched on it with your parents, but someone asked that. I think that's the only thing we really didn't cover.
Yeah, get them help if they need it, which if it's, intense like for me, then you need it. Kind of have that intervention and don't let it get to a point where you're stranded in another country and having a mental breakdown. Um,
Mhm.
it's a fun experience, but like you
But
don't
you
want
could
to
have
have it.
never have known that that was going to happen. Like you didn't know
No,
that.
I mean, yeah, it's true. It's true. But therapy, medication, if you have those resources, try and help them find that. And then other than that, as tempting as it is to be that provider of reassurance, it really backfires in the long run. So, if you're a parent especially and you're seeing your kids struggle, like I've talked to my parents about it and I can only imagine how hard it is. And like it is so hard, but try to work alongside the therapist and seriously take what they're saying about reassurance and not reassuring to some degree. Different therapists will say different things. But
Hmm.
but from my experience, that has been what I've been consistently told. And try to be there and be present without reassuring, I guess.
Okay.
Like sometimes when I'm feeling really sick, I'll have my dad just sit there with me and I won't have him say anything and he'll just sit there with me. And I really
Mhm.
love that. And I'm very grateful to him for that. Um, and like sometimes all you need is a present, warm body to know that you're physically not alone.
Yeah.
Even if you're not saying anything or comforting them or reassuring them, like it really makes a difference.
Okay. That's great. It reminds me of a saying that I'm not going to remember right now, but it's the three H's. The three H's. Do you want, when someone comes to you with something, it's like, do you want a hug? Do you want help? Why can't I remember the third
I
one? Hug,
don't know.
help, hug, help, something else. There's a three H. Hold on. Let me see. I can't leave with the like left.
Let
People are
me
going to be
try.
like, how did you not leave with that? Um, I'm like, hug or
I mean, like I know a lot of words that start with H.
I'm like,
Here,
oh,
here.
hug, help, or heard.
Yeah,
And I always loved
here,
that when I
her.
heard it. Now, obviously, it's
Yeah.
different, but I just feel like sometimes too, just starting from that, like you're saying, your dad just sitting there, or being heard, just like you need to say it out loud and don't reassure me, or help if you can help me find somebody that'll help me, whether it's a therapist or something like or medication. So I just kind of it resonated with me in regards to
Yeah,
the
no,
help,
it
hug, or
really
heard.
encompasses it all. Like, if
Yeah,
you can provide therapy and medication, it makes a huge difference. Might
yeah.
not work for you, that might not be the solution. Just be there and be, yeah, yeah, it makes a big difference. Shout out to my dad for listening to me.
This was an absolutely wonderful conversation.
Thank you
Obviously,
so
so
much.
wonderful that I completely lost track of time. Thank you for your vulnerability and your openness to wanting
Yeah,
to talk about this. I think this probably resonated with a lot of people.
I hope so. I hope so.
And even if it resonated with one that needs help, like that's what matters. So, so I just, yeah. So thank you so much. Noah, it was so great to talk to
You,
you.
it was so great to see you.
And best of luck with your studies.
Thanks.
And yeah, until next time.
Yeah.
Take care of
Um,
yourself.
I am.
Okay,
It's all
good.
good.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really am really grateful for this. And I'm glad you learned something. I know, again, there's a lot to talk about, and I'm always open to talking about it in the future. So,
Okay. I would love to hear it as the journey goes on. I'm sure there's going to be another time to really kind of
oh
update.
yeah, all the chapters. But yeah, biggest thing to leave everyone with is you're not alone, and yeah, you're not alone. So I hope it resonated with someone out there, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you
great
so
rest of
much.
your day. I'm gonna
Thank
try and figure
you.
out how to How
It's
do
okay.
we?
I think I can do it now. I'll just
Okay.
end it. It's perfect. So I think
Okay.
I just press this. I'm so I know. I'm glad at least you get it. Like the technology sometimes.
I mean, I think I could just click the X, no?
If I think. Well, I can do it. It's fine. We'll say goodbye. We'll do this. Bye.